Yeah, I was really cold all the time. I couldn't sleep my first week. I couldn't eat the food my first week. I was like, I don't understand. This is not Disney Channel. You know, Disney Channel, people eating some food and you think it's sweet. I was like, this is not what I signed up for. Disney Channel.
What was it like moving here as a
teenager? I didn't know I was coming to Canada. It's not as if I did not know. I knew, but like now when people are like know they're coming to Canada, there's this excitement they have. There's this like, oh, I'm coming to Canada. You know who I am. They'll like post it everywhere. They're coming to Canada. But for me, it was different because I had just become a senior. Because in my school we wear skirts if you're seniors. Like I just wear skirts.
you do wear a dress if you're not a senior?
Yes.
Okay.
Started wearing skirts. I started taking like high level physics, calculus. And so I was very interested in that. I was set. I was in band in high school. I already knew I was going to go to UNN, so University of Nigeria Nsukka for architecture. I already knew. Like I knew I was looking ahead, girl, okay, I'm going to be a prefect, you know. I was really set on going to school in Nigeria.
I don't like where this is going.
But so, there was one class, my dad was like, okay, do this IELTS prep class. You know, then it was not SAT prep class. And then...
Well, you never were like...
It did not click like that for me. So then, it was until I now did extension with seniors that were like prepping for like senior work and stuff. I was like, wait till...
Well, your dad insisted that not you and all your other set mates, just you do it with seniors.
Well, the school was like, okay, the only people prepping for these exams are people who are your seniors. So people in SS3. So it made sense for you to stay with them and be in the classes with them.
And you were in what?
I was like SS1, SS2. Mm-hmm. And so it now happened, I was not the only junior.
Uh-oh.
And so like, I will not come out. Or if I come out, I still remember, there was this one girl who sent me during dinner time to go and do something. And I was bringing back food and my food poured.
Oh no.
Because I was the only junior, so I used to hide. I was like, nobody should see me, not see me, that kind of thing. Because some seniors just wanted to send you and everything. You know the funny thing? I now saw some of my seniors in Winnipeg. Oh no! Gosh, I saw some of them!
Did you knock their head?
I just saw my face! I was like, how was I even doing here? Like, I just did as if I don't know them. It was something. I was like, I don't know you, don't know me. Moving on.
Now we're like all the same, so
yes.
What?
So that was something. And so it just took me back like, oh my gosh. There was a time where this person used to be this scary person because we were seniors and like sending her and stuff like that. I was like, nah, I'm not going to talk. Moving on. So
Wait, they're at UM?
yeah.
No way.
Yes. Like I was walking through university and I was like, oh my gosh, this person looks like one of the seniors I had in school. Like I turned my face. And there was another day Superstore. I saw somebody.
Bison Superstore?
Yeah. So the person was like a few aisles down, but I was like, you know how there's some seniors that are very distinct because of their character. You could tell. It's like, hey God, also. Because I needed to go there to get or something. And then I think I was with somebody. The person was like, what happened? Why are you acting funny? You don't understand. It's like you don't understand. So I can't wait. Now when we came out of Superstar, I said, oh, that was my super. I was like, I don't want anyone. I don't even want to remember. I was just like, no. Yo, it was one of those unexpected things. I was like, I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. Oh my gosh. That was surely something though. That was something. Yeah, so like seeing seniors, and so because I was the only junior, there are some like senior girls who are not nice. They're like, what are you? You're like doing too much. Because the understanding I got from my parents at that point was like, oh, we're looking for the best options for you. Okay, going to university in Nigeria is an option. Because I think there's like all these new universities coming up, Convenant, Nile, Pan, Atlantic. So all this new university comes like, okay, those are options we're looking at. But at the same time, let's look about sending you out of the country. So for me, it was not something I had heard since I was like 10 years old. Oh, I'm going to Canada, going to Canada. My youngest brother, from before GS1, guy knew that he was like his sister had gone, so he was not thinking too much of Nigeria. So, but for me, it was like I'm the oldest, so it was like, oh, isn't Nigeria the obvious option? You know, cost effective and everything. But my parents really wanted the best for us, and they wanted to try and just like, okay, see what the opportunities are, and so that's how it started. So I took all the exams. We tried different things. We tried US universities, Canadian universities. And so I had a choice between, I think, 3 boarding schools in Canada. I eventually went to one in Ontario. And I'm really glad I went there. Because the friends I met that we have as mutual friends, we met from high school in Ontario. And it also, my first perspective of Canada was how diverse it was because of like my school. Like during lunch break, you'd hear people speak different languages. And so it was so cool because in Nigeria, it's only like, okay, maybe Ghana, Togo, Cameroon. But there's some countries I'd never heard of. Lithuania or something like, or like, okay, yes, I knew what Chinese was. I knew like, okay, Chinese culture, but like seeing somebody who was Chinese or hearing the language face to face, I was like,
I was tempted to say ni hao.
But then it's like, and actually start learning it, you know? For me, it all started there in high school. And it made lots of wonderful memories.
But, okay, so I feel like when you realized what was happening, that your parents, like this entire plan that you had set was going to be ruffled and tumbled. What was that like for you? Like, are you the kind of person that was like, okay, well, I'll just go with the flow, or were you like, oh my god, well, I planned all of this and now it's not going to happen like that?
Well, for me, it was like being the adult. I had this thing of like, I always listen to my parents, you know, and so I remember my dad came to pick me up from school, and we went to this was when it started getting real. We went to this Canadian schools fair in Lagos, and I was like,
were you living in Lagos?
No. I went to secondary school in Asaba.
Okay.
And so...
Oh, he came to pick you from Asaba, and then you guys drove to Lagos together.
And so we went for this Canadian universities fair, and then talked to different schools, different universities, because then we're now seeing the options of, okay, should you finish school in Nigeria and come here for university? We're just trying different things to see what would work out. And then I remember coming back from holidays that time, and my dad now said, okay, boarding school it is, not university. But yeah, pick one of the 3. And so with the limited knowledge I had, I was like, okay, let's go with this one. It looked cool. And I can't remember if I knew somebody. Oh, I think I did. This friend of this extended family friend had a child who had finished secondary school in Nigeria and had gone there to do like what they call A-levels, but they did grade 12 again. And so I remember meeting that person during the holidays, told me about this girl. I was like, okay, it doesn't seem that bad. But for me, the most challenging thing I still remember is that there was this one person I thought was my friend in school. I remember the VP Academics came and like called me out because I think the results from my exams had come out. So I was like, okay, this might be your next step. As I was in chemistry class, and this girl I thought was my friend at the time was like, Chimdi, if you leave me and go to Canada, you'll never be my friend again. I was like, nah, I'm still trying to figure out what's happening. You can't be telling me this, you know? And so...
Sounds like she was just having separation anxiety.
I don't even know what it was. But, yeah, so I didn't come back again, like back to boarding school in Nigeria.
So that was like a permanent goodbye for you?
Yeah. So it was like the end of the term, and then so then I came. Oh, I was meant to start like fall semester, but the visa was taking way too long. So instead of starting at the start of fall, I came like midway through, so like November-ish. And so like...
Did you come with your parents or you came alone?
No, I came with my dad. And so like the semester had already started in school, but then I remember being in the plane. It was just 3 degrees. And there were flurries. I was shaking. I was shivering. I was like, Daddy, I'm too cold. Can I get another jacket? Blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't even like deep snow like here it is in Winnipeg. I was just like too cold. I remember going into they gave me my room. My roommate was Nigerian. And at first I thought it was good, but then it's a different story. But then, yeah, I was really cold all the time. I couldn't sleep my first week. I couldn't eat the food my first week. I was like, I don't understand. This is not Disney Channel. You know, Disney Channel, people eating some food and you think it's sweet. I was like, this is not what I signed up for. Yo! Oh my gosh, Disney Channel is such a scam. You think that, oh, life is all like Disney, everything, blah, blah, blah. And then, so because I had to do different like assessments and stuff. So in Nigeria, you could either be a science or an art student. And so because I was a science student, I didn't take some art courses. And so they're like, well, for you to get the Ontario Secondary School diploma, because I didn't do WAEC, I only did junior WAEC. You need to take like some of these grade 10 classes. I think it was literature or something, and there was this English thing. But then you could continue with like your grade 11, grade 12 math and physics, you know. And so for me, I was like, interesting. You know, I didn't think I'd have to do this. But then they did an assessment, they placed me in class. I remember feeling bad. I was like, why am I doing grade 10 stuff? You know, I was like, this is not my set mates to be graduates. You know, so that was in my head sometimes, like, oh, what if my set mates graduate before me and all that? Like my set mates from Nigeria. But after the first few months, like getting over that hurdle of like feeling a type of way with some of these classes because I hadn't taken them, or some of the courses were packaged differently here in Canada, I felt it wasn't anything I was thinking too much about. I started doing the classes. What helped me to get assimilated, I would say, was like getting involved in student clubs, like volunteering. Volunteering really gave me insight to see, okay, what is this Canadian life? You know, how are people living? And the school had a very like robust extracurricular program that I really liked, from everything from sports to Mother UN. I got to go to the UN headquarters.
No, in New York?
I did, in New York.
No way!
I was there for about a week. Yeah. I was there for about a week.
Girl!
So it's like General Assembly Hall.
Wow!
I think I was represented like Japan for some kind of, what's it called? Environmental issue.
Wow.
It was so cool. And it was so much fun. Very memorable. At the time, I was like, okay, this is cool. But now looking back, I'm like,
That's special.
Yes.
That's a whole other kind of special.
Yeah, so things like that just helped, you know, encourage me, and it's like helped me see the positives in the entire situation. So, yeah.
So it made you feel a little better about falling behind your peers in Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for people.
Yes. And letting go of that too. And also, then what else? Yeah, so made friends. Now, like, my high school diploma is an Ontario secondary school diploma. And then another point came when it was time to go to university. And so in my head, I was like, okay, I have the Ontario universities I'm going to because of the friends I've made here. Okay, I want to do architecture, I'm going here. For these reasons. But then something specifically happened where I was out of school for a while. I had gotten injured. So they're like, oh, you have to be on bed rest. And this was like my last year. You had to be on bed rest and stuff like that. But I was meant to, I think I fell. It was winter and I fell. I was coming down from the school bus and I fell. And so I think I had hit my head and they were like, oh, we need to watch you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm meant to be building my portfolio. Like, you can't be telling me this. And so I felt really bad about that. I remember with my youth study group, you know, they were, like Bible study group, they were really helpful and encouraging me because some of them are in university. I went to the same high school. And so he talked about strategies. Okay, can you ask for extensions on some of your assignments? What can that look like? Can you come back to class? So that was already disappointing in itself. But then because like my portfolio wasn't as good as it needed to be to get into some of the competitive schools I wanted to go into, for architecture that looked different. And so I was disappointed on that end. And then having a conversation with my parents was like, okay, now we've seen how this Canada thing is working. Okay, now we know your siblings will be able to come. So now financial affordability. So then it was, okay, U of M is more cost efficient. Both of you are coming to this Canada thing for school.
Wait, do you speak Igbo or English with your parents?
It
Or a mix of
depends.
both?
A mix of both. Yeah, U of M was the verdict for mostly financial, affordability and stuff like that. Because my parents had come just to visit and had seen different universities and different cities, and they're like, okay, we like this U of M. It's quiet, it's not as busy, and because like 1 year at U of M is one semester if you were going somewhere in Ontario, and so it didn't make sense. And there's 4 of us. So with that, U of M came. I remember coming to U of M. I was like, nah, what am I doing here? It felt like I was doing the same thing all over again from high school Nigeria to high school here, because I was like, there goes my plan, But U of M was special. I got to make it memorable. I remember my first week.
Before you talk about your first week, I still remember the first time I met you. Like there's some memories you just have. It's not every person I remember the first time I met them. But I just remember the first time I met you and how confident, passionate, like a Nigerian that affirms my kind of degree and interest. Like, hello. Like I still just like remember like where I was standing, what I was wearing, like how you like really, oh, you're campaigning for this, and I don't know, you were telling me about like being in this school, learning all these languages. I'm like, oh my god, you speak these languages. Like I also love languages, and I'm so glad I met you.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Because it's also that piece of we talked about earlier about like community. It's like building that community and what it looks like. Because coming to Winnipeg, I didn't know what to expect.
And it's very different too.
It's very different because in my high school, like on Ontario, it's more diverse. Like being black is not weird. It's like you will not be the only black person in this space. You won't be the only like Asian person or only like Indian person. Land in Winnipeg, everybody's so siloed. If I seem like I understand another language, I get this funny look. Like literally, I'll give you another gist of that separate. But like I noticed everybody was so siloed, and then in the Nigerian community, they were the baby girls, and they were the big boys, and the people who came to school, and the people who came to pop bottles in the car. So then it was so different for me. Because the energy in like Ontario was different. At least the city I went to boarding school in was different, because like everybody was more like volunteering, community service, because that's all school was about. Or like, okay, maybe Bible study and stuff. But here was different. It was like, oh my gosh,
baby girls.
Yes, I was like, how do I make friends? So in my residence, most of my floor was Nigerian, so it was co-ed. So one side was the girl, one side was the boys. And then I found out that the Nigerian girls on my floor, I don't do any like video games, but my brothers do. As I now formed, I know how to play video games. So that was the lead in. I was like, oh, I see you guys are playing Call of Duty. Like, do you guys have another? Do you guys have FIFA or something? And that was how we started conversation. So I remember that led me into start talking to some of the guys on my floor, the Nigerian guys on my floor. And so we built those relationships. I still talk to them now. And so that's how we started. And recently, one of the guys was like, because we're all on this Discord call, and so one of the guys was like, oh, you remember the first time that I walked into the room where they were all playing games, and I was like, introducing myself, talking to them. They're like, they've never seen a Nigerian girl. Like, I was like, me, I was forming up, but still. Because like,
well, you're like the fake it till you make it.
So but that helps build those relationships, because if I was very like, oh my gosh, I'm shy kind of thing, I wouldn't have made those connections, because I didn't know anybody in Winnipeg. And so those have become my good friends now. And so that was really helpful. And then what else happened? I made friends, joined clubs. In my first year, I was like going to different like clubs for their meetings every week. So I was just curious to find out what different clubs had. Then towards the end, I started becoming strategic. Okay, what needs to change on campus? How do I get involved in that? And so OMSU was it, and then we were on OMSU together, like the student board. And with that, I got involved in student leadership, and then that student leadership evolved to different opportunities where I got to travel. And in addition to my schoolwork, somehow I managed it. Somehow like first year me, who wasn't quite thrilled to be in Manitoba, made the best of the experience. Because I remember I made a video for myself in my first year. It's like, I don't know what degree you're going to graduate with, but I do hope you're proud of yourself. And I watched on my graduation day, which was really special.
Did.
Yes, it was really special. I started getting more active in student leadership. And then with my courses, the time I was taking 5 courses this semester, I still being involved. Like, I just look back and I'm like, yo, Chimdi, you did a lot.
Did a lot, Chimdi. Yeah,
you know, and I'm grateful to God that I made it through 1, and 2, I built networks and connections. And I think, was it my last year, I got a scholarship from the Canadian National Defense. That was a huge, because I wasn't even going to think about myself, however, one of my professors was like, I like the work you do. Have you looked at this scholarship? Check it out. And so I applied, and she gave me a very good reference, and I got it.
Wow.
I was stunned.
Wow.
And so that scholarship opened too many doors for me in terms of like my interest and being able to speak other languages and understanding different cultures. I was like, okay, how does this relate to national defense? And I just explored that field and had so much fun. It was such a niche, because many people on like campus do poli-sci and be like, oh, you're just doing basics. I'm like, nah, I can tell you the niche of the niche of the niche of what I'm doing. And it was so much fun. I got to travel. There was a point I was in Ottawa every month. I was in Ottawa every month. And I was like, and so they were paying to fly me out.
Whoa.
And so it was so much fun, just to be people who are making all this like laws for national defense, whether it was cyber, the Navy, the Army, just talking to these people. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know a career like this existed. So for an international student, it just opened my eyes to see what the possibilities were.
What would that kind of career be called?
Well, it could be anything. It could be like a diplomat. You could join the armed forces, like the Canadian version of the FBI, or like Global Affairs Canada. They have the immigration side, or just like a policy analyst, or the Prime Minister's office, or working on Parliament Hill. There are different options out there. But at the time, I was very interested in research, and so that could look like working with a professor, or if DND, as it's called for short, wanted like a research topic, you could work on that. So it definitely exposed me to different things. Like every time I was there, like, oh my gosh, this exists. Like this is a job, you can do this kind of thing. So that was really nice. And then come graduation, I started applying for some jobs. Okay, because now my eyes have seen it now. Let me try and apply. So I went for info sessions, virtual ones at the time, and then I'll be talking to people, oh yeah, we like your experience, we like your research. Are you a citizen? No. Are you a permanent resident? No. I'm about to graduate and I'll get a work permit for sure. And they're like, oh, I see. Yeah, you need like X amount of years of clearance. And that was very disappointing. And there was one interview for an analyst role with the government, specifically. So there was like 3 interviewers. This was like the second to the last part of the interview. So I'd done written stuff, assessments and all that. And so the team lead had interviewed me and was happy with my response. The HR person started asking questions. I had a list. Asked everything. Okay, how long? Blah blah blah. Have you been in Canada? Blah blah blah. Okay, are you a citizen? No. I could see her face change. Are you a PR? No. Her face, Auntie's face change. I could see that she had literally written me off. And by the time she got to oh, do you have a work permit? I was like, yeah, I'm about to graduate. And after the process of it, I could tell from her face that she had written me off. And so that was really disappointing, because this was something I was very interested in. I wanted to explore further and see what the options were there. So that was quite challenging. And so then I had to pivot and say, okay, what other thing was I interested in? And the other aspect I was interested in was business. And so I was like, okay, how do I, build a career in this, and how do I make it all connect? And so Yeah.
You have a really cool role right now because
Yeah.
in your role you speak English, you use French.
Yeah. And after using Mandarin too.
No, you haven't. Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So it's very cool because for work I work in English and French, but then a few cases I work in Mandarin too.
What?
Yeah, it's really cool. And so I never thought, it would work out this way. And God is good, honestly, because there were times when I would have been very disappointed. Oh, I want this, it didn't work out. But it's worked out. I'm enjoying the work I'm doing right now. It was never something I thought I'd be doing, but I'm having so much fun doing it. Yeah.
Chimdi, this is so nice. I'm glad that I got to hear a little bit of your story.
Yeah.
It's a little bit because I'm sure there's like so many processes. Like we could be here like all day and just to be like, oh my god, that happened.
Yes.
Thank you so much.